him say, you know what, we got to do this MOU? Not to. What do you think actually made him say, you know what, we got to do this MOU, even though I've been trying to delay it, but I got to do it?
It's the oil. It's the oil. It's a strategic petroleum reserve is running out. Lowest level since 1983. I think there's 350 million barrels left. That's not a huge supply. People don't realize
the price will still double.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm trying to tell people. The price still double with all these strategic reserves out there.
Right, and it's not even just ours, but it was this coordination of everybody dumping their strategic reserves all at the same time. China, these other East Asian countries, us. So the price was being artificially kept low because we're just dumping all this oil out there. And there was some reporting before the MOU that said realistically we've got about 4, maybe 6 weeks left before we have a real problem, like we have a supply problem, that the reserves in America, and this is happening even right now. There's some reporting that at Cushing, which is in Oklahoma, where all the oil goes through, that is reaching this dangerously low level, about 19 million barrels. And so it's just getting to the point where we're heading towards this catastrophic energy shortage, which then will just have a ripple effect throughout the entire global economy. And so I think Trump said it's imperative we just got to give it up. And ultimately, we ran out of options. We ran out of time because of the oil. There were no military cards left to play. There was all this talk.
Talk about that, please, because I got in an argument with an idiot the other day about this. I was like, dude, we literally had no more cards to play. Well, we go to Carg Island. I'm like, go ahead. You want to talk about how we had no military cards to play?
It's totally insane. I mean, and even these guys like Mark Levin and Shapiro, they're out there saying, we need to bomb Carg Island and we need to do all these things. And it's like, we can't even put a destroyer in the strait. The strait is so narrow, it means that it's basically impossible.
Submarines can't get in there either.
Right. And so you basically can't miss. If an Iranian is launching a drone or a missile at a ship, you literally can't miss. The ships are too slow. The strait is too narrow and shallow. We can't even get in there. Carg Island is, I think, 12 square kilometers. It's tiny. And you have to know the Iranians would anticipate this. So you start landing submarines on there, it's going to get on.
Talking about the Marines getting them on the MEUs, and I was like, this is a suicide mission if he actually does this. What's going on here? And then the other thing too, like I was trying to explain this, I was like, the only cards they really had left, realistically, was destroying energy infrastructure or a nuclear bomb. That's really all you had left. And if you do either of those, say goodbye to the Gulf states.
Yes.
Just say goodbye. They're going to destroy the desalination plants, no water, they're cooked. Summertime in the Middle East, over. So I can only imagine, I'll say about this. Imagine the Oval Office every day during the course of this conflict, like from Japan, from Indonesia, all these countries, the Gulf states, Trump, end the war. He must have had an insane amount of international pressure to end this thing. All of Europe. Now they got to buy Russian oil. What's going on here?
Yeah, huge international pressure, and you're right. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like we had a set period of time where we had some options before we ran out of oil. It's just, that's really what it all comes back to, is the U.S. really underestimated Iran's ability to close the strait and sustain the closure of the strait basically indefinitely. And you have this period of time where Trump thought we could bomb them into submission. Then it was getting too costly even for us. Bombing them was too costly for us because of how we were burning through the stockpile of interceptors and the damage it was doing to our bases in the Gulf. There's just too many targets. Can't defend all of them. So then we transitioned to the strategy of the bluffing, the economic blockade. We're just hoping there's some way we can trick these guys into a deal, and then you run out of oil. That's it. And, it's the end of the road.
I know Trump is a very difficult person to predict sometimes, etc. But if there's someone that understands his thought process, because you've been spot on with a lot of your analysis, a lot of your predictions, you've been spot on. What do you think his strategy was? Let's go to February 27th. Or actually, we can even go back when Netanyahu came the 13th time to America.
Right.
And he sold Trump on the plan. What do you think the plan was? What was he trying to do? What was the strategy? What did he think was going to happen versus what actually happened?
Well, you got to go back to really December, which is Netanyahu comes to Mar-a-Lago, I think December 27th.
For New Year's.
Exactly.
Yes.
And he came there with one intention, it was widely reported at the time. He said, look, we got to hit Iran again. We got to hit the missiles, he said, because Iran is building 300 ballistic missiles per month. And what this is going to do is it's going to make it impossible for us to intervene. And if they build up their missile stockpile, then they will get to work on excavating the highly enriched uranium, the centrifuges, then it's off to the races. So Netanyahu said we have to go back in, mow the grass, or defeat them once and for all. Trump goes into Venezuela that first week in 2026, extradites Maduro. It's this masterful operation. No U.S. casualties. We kill 100 of their guys, scoop them up. He's feeling good. Then you have those protests in Iran, where they say 70,000 protesters were killed. It's the most violent clashes ever. It's just the number just kept going up and up.
First it was 20, then 30,
Yeah.
then 40, then now they're saying 50, 60, 70, yeah.
We've never seen that before, right? We never, October 7th and other things, right? Like so it's like, think of the 100,000 protesters that were killed. And what we later learned, by the way, is that those protesters in Iran, it wasn't really a spontaneous demonstration. Where were the protests occurring? It was all in western Iran, where it's all the Kurds. And anybody knows what's going on is that the Iraqi Kurdistan, headquartered in Erbil, is basically broken away from the central government in Baghdad. That's where the U.S. still has all its bases. Israel's very aligned.
They have called you the head of the snake, the leader of the group. So I want to know, in your mind, what's been the biggest difference with how you guys started the year versus how you're playing to finish it?
To start, we was missing players. I missed a few games. B-Mill missed a few games. So just from that standpoint alone, that's kind of tough. But once we all got there and meshed together, from there we got to running.
It's been fun to watch. Coach Lee recently said that you've just transformed and evolved your game over the year. Do you feel like that's the case? And in what ways have you been able to really change your game?
I feel like we just more players, and just like I said, everyone got healthy. So finally just playing, and you see me play now. So I feel like that was the case.
You've experienced highs and lows in your career with injuries and just with how this team has played out over the last couple of years. What's it feel like to play meaningful basketball at this late in the season?
It feels great. First time, and just finally feel like you're playing for something. The games actually matter now, so it's a blessing.
Fans have called you the head of this, and then Con, you two have been one of the most fun duos to watch in the NBA. Why does he deserve to be Rookie of the Year?
Just him as a person, the way he plays, the way he helped us, and just him as a player. I feel like he shoots the ball like no other. He know how to make the right play. He just know how to play basketball very well.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Appreciate you, Ash. Have a good one.
And then Con, you two have...
Nigga.
And then Con,
Desde olores a estornudos, todo queda en el aire. A diferencia de los aromatizantes, Lysol Air Sanitizer elimina los olores y mata el 99.9% de los virus y bacterias en el aire. La fragancia no sanitiza, Lysol sí.
Men don't do basic hydration. We need super hydration. Old Spice super hydration. Vitamin booster for 24.
A diferencia de los aromatizantes.
City. Touch me like that again, my nigga. I don't remember that, alright? What's up, family? We are back. Touch me like that again, my nigga. I don't remember that, alright? What's good, YouTube family? We are back with another 2v2 to 40. To the right of me, we got Mr. Fon Bomb, and we got my boy Trey Croft. Yo, how's it feel to be back on the scene?
Feel good, man. Feel good.
What about you, Fon? You coming off a big victory, you feel me? What you looking to do today?
That's true, make that.
Hey, yo! We got my brother Zay to the left, and we got Coy. How you feeling today, my brother?
Good, man. Get in and out, 302, represent.
Oh, shit. What about you?
Get this shit going.
Yo, listen, man. They serious on this side, and they laughing on that side. Let's see who gonna win. Let's get it.
That's right.
Escaped with a second to spare. Everyone's seen this clip of this guy.
Put it.
payout if you were in a car accident up to 1 year ago, even if you weren't driving.
I think he's gonna turn around.
Always a pleasure to see the hometown favorite. We talked to him after the game. Man, Trey Crown fresh off the plane, man. He is out here getting work. It looked like he never left the scene, man. I'm telling you behind it. Not down, one shot. That's his first bucket of the game. Well, you know, sometimes it only takes one bucket to get you going. Let's see. Another one. So this is luck at some point.
I think so. I think he would have cut the bleed right there.
Now we in the trenches.
If you let Trey and Bobby be comfortable and not touch them,
I say don't get a bucket with your hometown behind you right now and take the roof off this motherfucker.
you gotta get the body ball, yeah.
I think, like you said, you be aggressive, you get what you want. But I got to want to get downhill because this is a higher pitch, you know. I love shooting jump shots, but downhill you go foul or layup. So I want to get, I'm going to start tripping away from guns.
But you never know. Or it could go on a run, you know what I mean? Some can't say. No, rebound by say, Those are the possessions they need, though.
force me. I can't even see the score. Blue shirts coming on the score.
22-11. Still the same score. Uniform.
Tough time.
Big dreams for business? Westerly Community Credit Union can help. From commercial real estate loans with
You got somewhat of an unorthodox style of play. Like, 'cause it's like, this guy, Tracy, got so much light.
Yeah, we gotta get this thing out of here.
Is the locals running out of gas? See, once again, I notice the guys that don't sit down no timeouts come out of time. All day, yeah. Nobody checking it.
It seemed like they were comfortable. But the game is not over though. At all.
That's tough. Shooters roll.
You gotta go down there.
It's time you gotta call something to clean this shit up, man.
I thought it was a foul for the
It's becoming more of a wrestling. You gotta clean it up, man. It's a lot of faithful for it. Yeah, it's a lot of people depending on Floyd to come through. He out hustling everybody. It shows. That's what I told you. I told you. Trey the toughest guy on the court. He the best player on the court right now. And he consistent. Look at that. Look at that. Hey.
He's too good of a player not to.
He finds his way. He's comfortable at home.
Even when he misses shots, he never
Look at that. Look at the drive. Look, he's making this look easy, man. The whole, it's quiet. Wow, this guy quiet.
know what's about that.
We seeing the levels right now.
That's what they were hungry for. They wanted to win that game. Straight from three. And Zombie,
That's tough.
straight from Zombie, and Zombie,
That's tough.
straight from Zombie,
Yeah. Body language is gone. So you see why I say, in some cases we get.
what the hell, Trey? No way.
In some cases we can just say, as long as we can push the button. They wasn't coming back, man. They out of it. They gassed out. So now they playing for more.
I like those. I mean, they help defense. Yeah,
That's what we did.
Hiking season is finally here, which means more time outside in the sun and enjoying nature. Which is why I'm partnering with Benadryl, because unfortunately,
See, with God reason, they on the ground fighting.
I was thinking, I'm afraid of the twos, but I wasn't afraid of the twos at first. Yeah, I like the twos. Yeah. That's all.
I got one.
Yeah. But that's what I was telling you earlier, Rajon. They gotta be aggressive on Trey. He's comfortable, bro. He's in his flow state. He's in his flow state. He's got it, bro. Touch him.
I got one.
Yeah. But that's what I was telling you earlier, Rajon. They gotta be aggressive on Trey. He's comfortable, bro. He's in his flow state. He's in his flow state. He's got it, bro. Touch him. Gotta touch him. Aggressive on Trey. He's comfortable, bro. He's in his flow state. He's in his flow state. He's got it, bro. Touch him. Gotta touch him.
Y'all do know Trey Crawford, like, he been on the scene with it. Like, you gotta think, before he left here, he became so smooth. He was in the girls like a school. We lost the school by 1 point. Convincing. So let me ask you this. Who do you want to see Trey Crawford against? Trey versus Keon, Trey versus Tello.
Some players ain't gonna show you their shots.
They got you. That's tough, Zay. It's 36-15. These guys didn't even 20 at home. timeout and told Zay he gonna give him the last 4 points. Jay, you hear that?
Yeah, I'm hearing him talk. I'm trying to hear what they're saying.
He told him I'm gonna give him the last 4 points.
It was they all over the place. But I think it's too late to have that energy. You should have had that energy when it was 0-0. You should have had the energy when it was 0-0. I mean,
Y'all got slide.
I'll be like, here.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. On defense.
in Delaware, Paul?
I heard Quinn wanted to play me one-on-one, so I wanted to give him a glimpse. It's levels, gang.
Oh,
Like, you know what I'm saying? Just like, no offense to bro.
that fucking phone ball, man. That phone ball was crazy.
There was a point in the game where we felt like back here that you guys just flipped the switch and you know what, we're gonna show these guys at this level.
Listen, at first we were bullshitting. I was hustling, he bullshitting a little bit. I said, "Fun, lock in." And then we feel when the connection get going, shit just don't stop.
You gotta know basketball, bro. We going at the weakest defender. Yeah, the weakness they play better defense. Why not go with what's working?
I'll say this. Thank y'all for standing up for YouTube players. Because the first two or two did not show up like this. Some of you, I seen you, like, some of the guys on the scene are prissy with it. But you not. I watch you get on the ground, get scrappy rebounds for the team. I watch Trey get 4 rebounds and put that. Like, y'all make this look so effortless, but I appreciate the guys that's on the scene that put the work in and come out every time. Man, thank y'all, man.
Let's get between nigga that on the image and nigga that really just love this shit. That kind of athlete. So when I'm out there, I know I got a passion for this shit. So I'm in my heart every day.
What's next for you guys?
I play at OBL in a couple days. I'm in the Final Four. Shit, trying to win 80,000. Shout out to Baltimore.
How much do you want to go out?
Rod Cologne.
Hey, so there's 2 things I want to say before we leave. One, congratulations to Farmy and Baltimore for continuing on. Farmy is an OBL champion, and I also want to give Trey a big shout out. He was stuck over in Israel when the war was going on. Thank God my man made it back home. He looked like he never left, man. Thank you guys, man. I appreciate everything.
Anybody you want? Anybody in particular you want?
Man, everybody want to see that Camry match. Everybody want to say, Kia, I'm outside.
I want to see rematch with
Twice Yearly Prep is here. One office visit every 6 months, 2 times a year for HIV prevention.
Who we here with? Who we here with? Zach. How y'all feeling about the game?
Tough loss, man. We couldn't get going, so it's a tough one. Gotta do better. Gotta find a better way to get into the game earlier than later.
Who better, you or Trey?
I'm better. They know. They went away from me the whole game. They know. I'm better than both of them. I'm better than both of them.
Why do you feel like they went away from you?
They know why. Ask them. They went away from me because he couldn't score on me. They got probably each of them had 1 bucket on me. They couldn't score on me. So I'm better. Individually, I'm better. I'm one of the best players in Delaware. I guard. I do everything. We just missing shots. We got off to a bad start. That's all it was.
How you feel about the game?
I mean, a lot of them, they being tough shots, bro. I mean, that should say it wasn't our day, but I mean, just little adjustments, little stuff, but a lot of BS calls too. But I mean, it's basketball. Shout out to them too. They did their thing out there, though, for sure.
Who better, you or Fabi?
I already killed Fami before, so if he went, let's see, hope, like, I mean, so I mean, he was a better man today. I was a better man before. If he want to check up, we can check up.
What made you better than Fabi, though?
I do everything better than Fami, bro. Fami one of them guys, like, we both bring that energy, so I mean, I feel like it'll be a great game, but piece by piece, Fami can't do nothing with me, bro.
So basically, you and Fabi killed him.
For sure, he already know. That's why he came here with that energy. He know what it was. But I mean, again, bro, I'm a real basketball. I don't take nothing from nobody. He had a great night. Like, you feel me? Him and Trey, they didn't do a lot of missing. They were making shots. I mean, that's how it happened. I mean, you can't get them every time, but I mean, overall, I say shout out to them. They did good.
Y'all play him 10 times. How many times y'all win him?
Got them out over 50%. Everybody had their days. They hit a lot of tough shots. So kudos to them. They good. Two good players. Kudos to them. But we just got up to a slow start, and it was the better team today.
Every dog got their day type shit.
Yeah, every dog got his day for sure.
Where can they find y'all at?
Delaware, we right here. Anywhere. Graham, MD.Z3, hit my DM. I play. I'll come outside. I'm outside.
Where can they find you at?
Coister, 3 hours on the ground.
Good shit, my boys. Appreciate y'all. Hey, Trey, come here, Trey. Good shit. All right, go ahead.
Some niggas just don't get it, man. One day.
But we can help you find a new job. Our new drug area to purchase. If you win.
I think it's
Jared versus Draco. We're on your side first. How you feel about this matchup, my guy?
I'm ready. I'm blessed. Thank God for being here.
End of that, brother. Draco, do you have anything to say about this match right now?
Oh, let's play ball, bro.
Usually goes like that. These guys don't want to speak. They want to talk on the court. Let's get it going. The game has started. Draco with the ball. Let's see what he can do with his first possession.
It's so insane how he shoots the ball. He shoots the ball just exactly how he confidence.
So you like, it looks like you know the ball.
Exactly, he shoots the ball.
Drake will shoot how he shoot. I want to see Jay Crawford. I just want to see it. To see it fit.
peace wasn't something he tried to keep. It was something he carried, and you can too. Here's how to walk in that same unshakable peace that nothing and no one can disturb. Number one, your peace is a form of protection. The enemy doesn't always attack your money or your health. Sometimes he just wants your reaction. Because when you lose peace, you lose focus. That's why peace isn't just a feeling, it's armor. Philippians 4:7 says, "The peace of God will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus." Peace guards you, but only if you stay behind its walls. When someone tries to provoke you, they're testing your spiritual defense system. Every time you stay calm instead of clapping back, you're saying, "My peace is worth more than this argument." So next time anger rises, remind yourself, this isn't about them. It's about protecting what God gave you. Number two, offense is a trap, not a test. Every time someone offends you, it's not random, it's strategic. The enemy knows he can't steal your peace directly, so he baits you into giving it away. That's why Jesus said in Luke 17:1, "It is impossible that no offenses should come." He didn't say you could avoid being offended. He said you could avoid living offended. Offense is a trap that keeps you replaying the moment, rehearsing the pain, and reliving what hurt you. And the more you think about it, the deeper you sink. Forgiveness isn't about ignoring the hurt. It's about refusing to let the hurt own you. You let go not because they were right, but because you want your freedom back. Because as long as you stay offended, you stay bound to the person who hurt you. And peace can't live where offense still breathes. Number three, stillness is strength. The world tells you to speak up, clap back, and prove your point. But the Spirit says, be still. Exodus 14:14 declares, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Because stillness doesn't mean silence, it means surrender. When you choose peace over reaction, you're telling heaven, "God, I trust you to handle what I can't." Some battles are meant to be won through restraint, not reaction. That's how Jesus responded to false accusations, not with anger, but with peace. He knew his silence said more than any argument ever could. Stillness doesn't prove you're powerless, it proves you're protected. And when you stop fighting for control, you start watching God fight for you. Number four, peace grows where pride dies. Most anger doesn't come from pain, it comes from pride. Because pride whispers, "They shouldn't have talked to me like that. They owe me respect." And before you know it, your ego is running your emotions. But James 4:6 reminds us, God resists the proud but gives grace to the humble. Humility isn't thinking less of yourself, but James 4:6 reminds us, God resists the proud but gives grace to the humble. Humility isn't thinking less of yourself, but James 4:6 reminds us, God resists the proud but gives grace to the humble. Humility isn't thinking less of yourself, it's thinking more like Christ. When pride dies, peace lives. You stop needing to win every argument. You stop needing to be understood by everyone. Peace comes when you care more about your spirit than your image. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Just smile, let it go, and walk away knowing God saw it all. Number five, you can't stay angry. When your eyes stay on God, Peter walked on water until he looked at the storm. That's exactly what happens when you shift your focus from God to people. Your peace begins to sink. Isaiah 26:3 says, "You will keep in perfect peace all who trust in you, all whose thoughts are fixed on you." Peace fades when attention drifts, because the moment you stare at what hurt you, you forget who heals you. You can't control how people act, but you can control where you look. So when anger rises, don't react, redirect. Look back at God. He's the anchor that keeps your heart steady when emotions want to take over. When your focus stays on Him, your peace becomes untouchable and your spirit unbothered. Number six, your calm is your witness. Sometimes the greatest sermon you'll ever preach won't be with words, it'll be with peace, because the world expects you to control. But when you stay calm in chaos, people notice. Your peace speaks louder than your defense ever could. Matthew 5:9 says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God." That means peace isn't just something you feel. It's something that reveals who you belong to. Every time you respond with grace, you remind the world that your spirit isn't ruled by emotion. It's ruled by God. And that quiet strength, that's what sets you apart. The truth is, peace isn't something you wait for. It's something you protect. You don't find it in a quiet room or a perfect day. You build it in the middle of chaos when you choose stillness over reaction and surrender over control. So the next time someone tries to steal your calm, ask yourself, is this worth my peace, or am I handing over what God gave me? Because the more you guard your spirit, the more like Christ you become. Type peace in the comments if you're choosing to walk unbothered from this day forward. And don't forget to subscribe for more faith-filled messages that strengthen your walk with God. Your peace is your power. Protect it.
alternative to braces for straightening your teeth. But how do aligners actually work?
Scranton right now.
investments in the stock market? Listen up. The SEC plans to eliminate quarterly reporting.
checking account in 2 minutes, and we'll spot you up to $200.
Okay, guys, wow. Welcome to Hoop Dreams, Dreams in Motion. DJ took the win over Deshaun. My goodness, what a phenomenal game. I guess we're going to talk to the winner right now. DJ, talk to me, bro.
Man, I ain't even gonna lie, bro smooth. But it's a level to this, bro. I ain't even say I'm a top dog, but like I said, he's smooth. Not no showcase winner, bro. I'm above that, bro. I ain't no showcase winner. I ain't playing a showcase winner, bro. Nah, hell nah. But I respect to the Hoop Dreams for coming out here, man. You know, they doing their thing, they going up. They bring me back, I'm putting it. Hey, next time the price went up now.
I love it, bro. I love it. All I want to say, bro, your jump shot is like a on a pro level. You didn't miss one damn free throw. Bro, tell us about that form, bro. The form.
It's time. This is time, bro. This ain't nothing but time for a shot. I ain't gonna lie, you can't teach this, bro. You gotta work, bro. You gotta work, bro. You gotta have this. If you ain't got it, it just ain't in, bro.
I totally agree. So my question to you, what is next for DJ? What is next? On the scene, who is your next matchup that you're looking for? Also, take this into consideration. Who do you see yourself playing next, man? What's next for you?
Man, I'm up with all pretenders, man. I ain't looking no rap, no smoke, none of that, man. Next, like I said, I ain't got no list, but I want somebody with some rank behind me, you feel me? I want somebody with some something behind them to where, after I punish them, ain't no question about if I should be on this list or not.
I love it, bro. Great response. Congratulations, bro. Congratulations. Wow, guys. Deshaun, as soon as I felt, congratulations. Wow, guys.
He's a great dude, though, man. We joking a lot. We joking a lot. I mean, he's like not the worst friend I got. Like,
He's up there.
but he's up there. Yeah, he's definitely up there. He's a great dude, though, man. We joking.
Moves, right? Alright. Moves been sparring big guys, light heavyweights and heavyweights, and stopping them. So, I mean, that weight difference, that don't mean nothing. Right? That nigga beat an old nigga to Bruce, that's the bigger difference. He gonna see Saturday night.
Alright. He don't be making no sense, but whatever. We'll see Saturday night. Mr. I'm flat-footed. Like, what? Like, whatever. But it don't matter. We're gonna see Saturday night. And all that stuff he was saying this, saying that. We're gonna see Saturday night. I'm gonna show the world and him what I'm really about. He gonna say straight like that.
I'll see you Saturday night, 48 hours.
Okay. We gonna see.
I think I'll do everything above everybody. I feel like
Oh my God.
Oh.
With the soda. They tried to give me 50 something.
He said, oh yeah, he was in there.
You know what I told him? Give it to me. If y'all got me, give it to me. Cause I don't know nothing.
Yeah, see, I like that.
You know what they say? Charges at the hood. We'll spend that money. If y'all got me, give me. Can't tell them myself.
When they chat about people, and
they try to give me 50 something.
Nair, nice to meet you. Yeah.
Yes.
I got you. You know, you want to be comfortable with that, no joke, you know? I'm gonna put alright, come on, let's out of here. So your name is Jack? Where you from? Oh, Pittsburgh. Oh, okay. Long way from home. Oh, okay. How you like out here? Yeah? Oh, yeah, it is bad out here right now. You know, it's raining bad. You know? So you got plans for the rest of your day? Yeah.
Cooking after I'm fine.
Okay, okay. You sing? How long you been singing? What is that? Months, years? I need to do good singing though. You should like, you know each other, so let me get your number.
Right now, I'm not.
Alright, just
No,
well, like, might not even like friends?
no, I know where it can be. I'm alright.
What's me need? I need to work.
I know where it can be.
No, really?
Done that. I'm alright.
No.
But it's been on me now.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, I expect that. Well, you know, like that, alright? Alright. Gotta respect it, though. I mean, keep wasting my time standing right there, you know, talking shit with you. That's, you know. Shoot, that was pretty good for sure. Nice looking over it now. What's up?
Hey, Andrew.
What's up?
What's up?
That's it, what's up?
Nice.
I appreciate it.
It's really nice.
Yeah, one of my toys.
Say that again?
I said one of my toys.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what?
Big money.
It's money.
Big money.
I mean, if that's what you want to say.
I mean, I just call it how I see it. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be
So what do you see there?
I see a handsome, successful young black man.
Okay.
Very well put together.
Right. Okay, okay. But what's up though? What's wrong?
I want to get to know you.
I mean, that's all time to go over there when I get to your car.
Yeah, but see, I know how it is, but, you know.
Oh, what?
I'm gonna be honest. I know you wanna play no games.
What you mean by that?
I know you wanna play no games.
Yeah, I don't play games at all, but like, what do you mean by that though?
You wanna play with people, take care of me.
Take care of you?
Yeah.
Take care of you for what?
Take care of me for what?
Yeah, for what? You're not about to.
Okay.
Yeah, she said take care of her. Let's go. Alicia.
How tall are you?
6'1".
How old are you?
29. Yeah.
27. Let's start over real quick. I'm back.
Jackie? I hear. Yeah.
What's your name?
I appreciate it. What's up, though?
I'm trying to see you.
I mean, you came back over here to talk to me, right? So,
Good?
you said what?
Sound good?
Oh, I appreciate it.
Okay, you look good. I like the dress.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I got on that silver coat.
Get on.
Silver coat. Yeah. I appreciate it. But what's up, though? It sounds like it's my time. Yeah, you came back to me. Well, I feel like you're wasting my time right now, though. Okay, then, so you came right to me before, though. Like, we don't got to do our voice. That's why I'm coming over there, though.
Okay.
But like, why now, though?
Because I see that you're not just any nigga.
You mean so what? Cause my car? So if I ain't the car, then what? Nah, for real.
If you didn't have this car, I don't know.
No, no.
I don't know.
Okay, so what vibe you on? Like, what's your intention with me?
My intentions is to see if you could be my potential husband.
Husband, oh, okay. I'm trying to speak to this, like, okay, you're trying to manifest it right now.
I'm very well put together. I got a lot going for myself, and I see you have a lot going for yourself, and I feel like we pair well together, so.
So what you got going for yourself?
I'm a loctician, I'm a drinker.
Okay, so.
I'm starting other businesses. I have a private in the house. I have a car. I have all of that. So,
Okay. I love that for you. And I hope you're bad.
and I can add value to your life. So,
Okay, now we talking now. You know what I'm saying? So you should have came to BJ already when I first approached you though.
I'm sorry.
You wasn't talking at all. Teach you what I have though. You know what I'm saying? I already walked with that. Yeah.
You can't understand where I'm coming from.
Nah, I hear you, but I just can't understand it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just, like I said, you came back for the wrong thing. You didn't come back for me.
Let's talk about it.
Ain't nothing to talk about. You know what I'm saying? You already said enough. You showed me enough already. So I'm good enough, alright? You have a nice day, alright? You have a nice day. Just like right here. Good chat. Slow down with the dude. Have a nice day. Yep, that's how far there. I'm really amazed at you. Why you doing back there? What did you say? 5. Alright. Time. Give examples and everything. What's up? Yeah, have a nice day, man. So what's your name? I ain't want to talk to you now. I don't try to talk to me now. What's up? Somebody matter. Somebody matter. You want to tell me yourself what you said about her?
Because I didn't be saying you guys to this thing.
I mean, I thought when they tell me about see what it is. Couldn't say thank you for that. We gave you the same place though.
I didn't say it.
Then why now though? Then you wanted it at first.
I didn't really look at it.
So why turn me down then? What you look at me?
Because I don't want to just.
Don't want to what you playing games and something like that. Why that matter though?
Because you ain't got a nice car that you want to.
Why you hold on? I got money. Okay, so what? What is wrong for you? You need to have some money. Okay, so you have some money. Like I said, what that's wrong for you? How? Or if it's anything you man like flat trick on you. I'm not a trick though. Yeah, so you what trick that's not me?
So I can get your number or nothing.
I mean,
like, I can't even check the car like this. Like, that's
I mean, you looking at it right now, right? You funny as hell. Like I said, I know I treat you. You look quite like that.
All right, well, you ain't got to stop. That's the watch.
Still want me to go?
Yes.
What's your name?
My name is Larry.
Larry. Where you from?
Tampa.
How long you been Irish? Larry. Oh, yeah. Okay.
What's your name?
My name's right here. So you want to get how I grow with you?
Fuck off my bed,
Hey,
nigga.
that's why I asked.
What I'm saying is like, you still trying to talk to me how you actually like trying to get my name, but
All right, come on, stop being so stubborn.
it means that I'm just like right now, it's getting energy. You know, that's out there. Once I get time to yourself, over. I'm just fucking now. Well, by now, though. You sing? You sing? How you been singing? So, how come? Some Cheeto? So you move on? So that's it, the Cheeto. And then you cheat, yeah, so yeah. Yeah, probably.
Are you single?
Yeah, I'm single. I like the one way, you know. It's my favorite dog. What's that take up? So you right here? Has it moved? Let me see. Oh. Just one side, alright? Alright, you got hands? From the use. I'll expose something more.
I'm like, ooh, looking really good. How tight too.
So what's your like?
I mean,
Y'all still start going into the button to the curve.
I'll be honest, like, I don't know if it's going right away, but like, I see that face, I see that kind of like, ooh, looking really good. How tight too.
So what's your like?
Oh, you got your another one too. That's cool, Redman, bar. Let's see that. Ooh, you look not bad.
Okay. Sorry, what's up, though? Yeah, my son's like, what's up? Where?
So, first they got with that. I don't know it's good.
She likes it. Take care of it. You say that. What is up?
Yeah, I would take myself out sometimes.
You say take off.
Not steak house, but like long
Okay, take long.
Oh no.
No.
I'm thinking something like more juicy or something.
Oh, but you also put stuff there, right?
I do know, but not all the time.
Okay, so why you want to
I even be doing it.
What does mature have to do with color?
No response?
Very mature, like, it sounds ignorant, I'm not gonna lie, but I know a lot of very mature black people.
Who?
Probably some middle-aged white man, probably a black man talking to another black person. That's the crazy part. No, don't even do that. Don't even it be like that all the time. It be showing people. Black on black crime. It really be like that though. We've been caught.
You guys saw the girl that passed away in Africa?
Yes. Oh my God. Do you think?
You saw that? She basically, after she was a news sponsor, and she had worked with a successful guy, John McCain. And you know, I'm very small, but this news came out and revealed this from the friend of work. Long story short, she's dated a hospital black man, black man ain't good, yada. And kind of found her book was white. There you go. But she ended up getting, she died basically. They said it was him that killed her from my company. You know, on a trip. Now, it's funny because she was dating the white guy. But the black guy behind the scenes. I don't know two of them. So all the black folks, some of them here on the funniest niggas been fucking with us. MIA go, but probably not. I probably was, but you probably forgot. My way to go had to go right in shit.
where I'm like, oh, we want to fix our race.
Okay.
They're very like racist within our culture. So it's like, I'm very, like Dominican, like I grew up with a mother telling me like, you should come with a white man to fix our family genetics. I'm like, babe, I'm gorgeous. I'm fine. If I get with a black man, an Indian man, it don't matter who I get with, my kids are gonna be beautiful. I don't care.
Why white?
Why white? It's this idea that white people are perfect. They're not. They're not. They're pretty, but I don't think they're
forever. Black don't crack.
Black don't crack, baby. That part. But I'm not gonna only fuck with black people because they don't crack. Like no, I care about what's inside, and inside has no race. We're all one race, the human race.
I care about
Hold on. What you about to say? I don't know. What you about to say?
I care about the inside as long as the outside's not bad.
Oh.
Wait, what?
Just so you know, like puppy.
Just say I don't like that. I mean, I've had really cool families. I've been treated the best by family.
Hey, one of my best friends is big. Like, I ain't no hater, but like, just personally, do you see how small I am? These chicken legs, what you gonna do, sit on me?
Chicken legs, girl.
I ain't going in the bed with that.
No.
Okay.
She be fucking fat niggas.
We'll come to mine right away. You can be honest, we're wrong with You can say whatever.
Honestly, a lot of them, I coach people as well, so I kind of like understand them a little bit better now. It's mostly a mix of they don't have the discipline to do it because I've seen it. I've realized like it's not a lot of people like to say it's the tools, or I don't know like how to do it, and then when I give them the tools, a lot of them just can't do it. So in my mind, it is a choice that you make because everybody knows you eat less, you get slim, or you're not fat anymore. So yeah, I do think it's a lack of discipline. Just because I've worked with them and I've had actual experience, I'll try to help them, and like most of them, it's hard for them to stick to the plan. But yeah, there's peptides now, I guess. So.
I was gonna say, what do you
peptides? Do you want any peptides?
Yo, so here's crazy. I've been told to get peptides.
Yeah.
Even though I do want to try it, I'm kind of scared because I don't know what's gonna happen. Thoughts on it?
I started diving a little bit of that today. That's why I brought it up. Yeah. I feel like they are the future, to be honest, because they're not as like the results are not as crazy as like steroids, but the sides are almost like non-existent, pretty much. So like you're gonna get, for example, Red Eye is like also considered natural for like bodybuilding shows. Really, I think you can take it and do a bodybuilding show. That's what Greg told me. And you can do a bodybuilding show and you're gonna be fine. Like you're not gonna disqualify or anything. Because, well, yeah, in my opinion, they're the future. That's what people are going to take all over the world, to be honest.
Because I heard it's like a cycle. It starts with athletes, and then stars, and then us, we get last. Us people.
Yeah.
Struggle, regular folk.
Yeah.
But, so right now, no side effects.
Well, it depends. Like, if you just stop eating, like right now what it does is suppress your appetite. It helps you, like, you burn more calories on a daily basis. And also, I think there's something related to like insulin. Your insulin responsiveness is better, so like I think you can even build more muscle. So if you take Red Eye in bulk, you're gonna get better results from what I heard. But yeah, like if you just stop eating and you're not smart about it, then you're just gonna lose a lot of muscle. So you gotta, but like in terms of like health, if you eat properly, you eat your protein, and you're taking Red Eye, I think you get great results.
Do you want any peptides?
Am I on?
Yeah. Would you do one?
Probably. At some point, maybe.
That's a good thing to move to Miami for.
Why?
Because there's like,
everybody's on the peptides.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the entire trip is on that shit, bro.
Yeah?
Entire trip, man.
I'm telling you, it's the future.
I was about to get peptides for the first time today with guidance.
For what?
What the fuck?
For what though? I want ST2. I want MT2.
Baby, you look great. You just need to do some squats and some hip thrusts. You'll be fine.
I like being skinny. Why is that what focuses in your brain?
Okay, I didn't know that. But I wanted to ask.
Obviously, I'm skinny for a reason.
too. Baby, you look great. You just need to do some squats and some hip thrusts. You'll be fine.
I like being skinny.
No,
Why is that what focuses in your brain?
Okay, I didn't know that. But I wonder that.
Obviously, I'm skinny for a reason, or else I wouldn't be this.
Do you have a fast
I have a very fast metabolism, and I eat like more than majority of people a day. But either way, I still do cardio, like Pilates, stuff like that. I go in hot rooms, so I keep myself skinny for a reason.
That's for sure. For sure. But I want to know if you think determination or dedication is more important when it comes to losing weight, or like working out.
You don't need none. I think you can lose
Motivation. People are always talking about like.
I think it's really discipline. But yeah, you don't need to go to the gym. Like obviously you need to train to make sure the weight you're losing is fat, not muscle. But I do think it's mainly comes down to discipline. Like you can really stop eat protein, and you can lose fat. But it is again a little bit of training. I think training is a lot less important than the eating part. The eating part is everything. You can eat right and not train the best, and you get results. You can do the opposite.
She does not have AIDS that I know of.
What?
Chad said you have AIDS because you're skinny. You're skinny and then.
Why would you even say that out loud?
I mean, Chad, no,
No, don't even do me weird like that. Like,
So is it no?
No, you weird.
Alright, there you go, Chad. Alright, there you go.
And whoever said that, eat my ass from an uncomfortable position is fat-headed.
Oh, shit.
Literally.
Alright, there we go, Chad.
Like, actually, who the fuck do you think you are? Worthless scum that would comment in the chat, damn it. Like,
No.
eat my ass.
You don't have to swoop down.
What's that?
Like, seriously, I don't give
Alright, she's crashing out.
Because actually, why would you have the audacity to say that out loud, Chris?
People die of that. Why would you say that?
Answer your question. Trust me.
Okay, cut that tea. No, I don't got AIDS, damn it.
Alright, talk about me.
You have AIDS.
You have AIDS. Oh, my bad.
Does he have, what does that mean?
People don't get AIDS?
Does he got the bumps check?
Oh, you want me?
Does he have the bumps check?
Wait, hold on. You come at me? You come at me? No. Like, let me know. If you come at me, trust me, you don't want to come at me right now. I mean,
So we shake hands and agree to,
That nigga Chris with
we
it.
shake hands and like, even it out.
That nigga Chris with it.
Sorry, Daddy.
Alright, you're welcome.
Daddy.
Alright.
Yeah, daddy basis?
What's that?
It's just the easiest way.
I don't even call daddy.
No. It's just the easiest way for me
This nigga Chris with it.
Because they just start
Try
talking
it
so much after that.
Try it sometime.
They'll be like, oh, I'm your daddy.
Yeah, if you get it at the right time, you'll just boom, silence.
Fuck no. Bitch, I ain't your father. Don't call me no daddy.
I mean, we're so single, so it's fine, bro.
That's fine, aren't you?
I mean, for a reason.
Wait, you didn't ask him. You didn't ask him if he's single. Are you single? No. It's complicated. I hate that. I hate when they hit you with this complicated, because what that really means is just like, you talking to multiple people, or you talking to one person, you don't
Bitch, you don't want to.
You probably got 5 girls
You
excited on the other side.
trying to lock down
Like,
that one person.
Bitch, you don't want to.
Yeah, keep it private. Your private life should be private.
Alright. Any more chats? Yeah, we got 3. Alright, Cam says, question for the ladies. What is the most important question to ask on the first date?
Do you have a girlfriend? Do you have a significant other? Don't forget that one, ladies.
We can start here. Good, Granny.
Thank you. I think you should find out what they want, like what they're looking for. If they're wanting like monogamous, if they want an open relationship, because if you're not compatible that way, then you're wasting your time.
Oh yeah. Is that clear?
We know men want more than one
So
bitch.
kiki like I be vibing at the date so bad that I forget to ask if you got a girlfriend, bro. You know how many times I've gotten caught up with girlfriends? Like, what do you mean? Like, why would you take me on a date? Full on have a full conversation with me. Publicly, and then pay for food and all this extra oh, I got you a truck. I'm gonna pick you up from your crib. Like,
Niggas is not doing that for you. Like, why she lying?
more important question, but
Why she lying?
I got keep on live.
Why she lying?
Boyfriend, like, that's crazy. Like, don't do that.
now I'm serious.
You're actually lying.
No.
And she's lying.
I be feeling bad because it's like you dead got a girl at home. That's crazy.
Double life.
That double life.
Have a little time. First date, man.
What's your favorite color? No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh, we got this dumb bitch.
Like, are you looking for marriage? Cause, yeah, that's an important question. I'm looking for marriage. Like, if I'm like, when I start getting interest in dating again, I'm looking for marriage.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
She's lying.
Yeah, I would just ask them what they're looking for.
She ain't looking for marriage.
Straight up.
Cause I could be both, but like, which
Is that what you preach to, though?
but they're not always honest. You know that, right? I ask them in different forms, different ways. Like, what are you looking for? Because they might have girls at home, they just want a little extra.
Bro, they asking that because they already know what the nigga looking for. Some sex.
Why? Like, like, you think there's an ice cream shop or something? Like, get your one snack and walk
The
away.
nigga is looking for sex. You already know.
They love to play the good girls.
For sure.
No, like, what the fuck?
I can tell.
I'm tired.
You look gay.
How dare you? So my things that I ask like on a first date are, what are your life goals and where do you see yourself in 5 years? I think that's really important.
Typical.
Because if you can't see yourself moving anywhere than you have now in 5 years, we probably aren't gonna work out. Unless you're already like settled in life, you know what I mean?
And
No.
I'm saying, give the guys one tip you use to vet girls, because obviously speaking, you're very picky, which you should be. How do you vet them? You would say one thing you ask a question on a date.
I guess body count, but they can always lie. So I would say like how the relationship is with their dad. I guess that's a good way to kind of see how it would be with me. If they have a bad relationship with their dad, usually it tends to be more complicated towards the, like, you know, further down in the relationship. That would be one thing I would make sure. If she has a good relationship with her dad, and her dad is kind of like he showed her, like for example for me, like if I have a daughter, I'm gonna make sure she gets spoiled, she gets everything she wants. My God, like if I have a boy, it's gonna be totally the opposite. But yeah, like if she was spoiled, like I think she would be more picky with what she goes for, which is good for me, I guess. So yeah, that's right.
That's very true. My dad raised me very spoiled, and now I won't date a broke man that won't take care of me.
Yeah, but there's a lot more stuff than just money, too.
I think like it cares about your mindset. I think like your mental.
Bro, stop talking like that. Why is she talking like that?
Like your bank account, like.
She gave me
financial
trouble.
important.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is like I would teach her not just the money aspect, it's also like you gotta take care, you
You
gotta
should
take
teach
care.
your daughter the money aspect too, so that she doesn't
I
get
will.
stuck with a broke man.
I will for sure, that's what I'm saying, but there's a lot more that goes into it. It's not like go around and get just
But
money,
that's
get
what
everybody's money and
I agree.
give.
So you get a woman who leads by example for your daughter. Yes, I think it's important that
And that's
the
why
dad
goes
has
back to
be
my
the
point.
example, but the mother should be
Goes
the
back to my
example.
point where body count is important. If their mom is at
So
home.
where you cap it at?
For me, like I said, ideally a virgin.
Be realistic, bro. Like,
Realistic.
body count is not matter.
I can easily, like, it's realistic. It might be not be realistic for everyone. For me, it is.
Other than that, I agree with you, but
I just
Why not? Is it because you don't qualify for it? Is that why you don't?
No, it's
Nah, he's wrong. It's good,
That's so mean.
No, I'm just asking. No, I'm just asking. Why don't you agree with it? You said you agree with everything. No.
I said other than that, I agree with you. So,
What do you mean other than that? The virgin part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why don't you agree with it?
because I have a baby. I'm not a virgin. I'm not gonna lie.
That's fine.
It's the 21st century, but other than that, I agree what you're saying.
Okay.
Father. I said other than that, I agree with you. So.
What do you mean other than that? The part. The virgin part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why don't you agree with it?
Because I have a baby. I'm not a virgin. I'm not gonna lie.
That's fine.
It's the 21st century, but other than that, I agree what you're saying.
Okay.
Father.
I know, but like, okay, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to be mean or anything. I'm just curious, like, why don't
Nah, fuck that. I'm trying to be mean.
I think
No
I
mean
don't think
nigga.
you should be like focused on like the virgin part as much. I think like maybe like a lower body count would be better in a way that she holds herself in like a relationship because she has her family like Especially like, I wouldn't even say like, just the mother you should be paying attention to. They should grow up with a toxic mother. There's not food traits that she's not
No, she did.
Ultimately, it's up to you to marry. Marry. I mean, sex outside of marriage is illegal. So, if you're Muslim. So, could you marry one that had sex outside of marriage? Would you ever see a list today?
Like I said, ideally, no. That's what I said.
You know, they have sex with you, whatever. Something to do. It's not extreme.
Like I said, ideally, no. That's what I said.
So it's something to do. It's not extreme.
Like I said, ideally, that's what I go for it, ideally.
So it's possible that you could actually marry somebody